gentlemen, this is your Captain Sarah speaking. We're just about ready to land at the Bachelor Mansion. With me, of course, is my co-pilot, J Wade. We're about to cover the 3-hour Bachelor premiere, so if you could make sure that your seat and tray are in the upright position, and be sure to fasten your seatbelt, because believe me, it is going to be a bumpy ride. Woo! Hello, everyone! From that intro, you can guess that we are covering Sweetie PD's Bachelor season. We are back. I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing. With me, of course, is my co-pilot, Jay Wade.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us on this flight. We would like you to have a safe and happy trip with us today. We are looking at sunny skies over California. Thank you very much. Have a safe flight.
And we will be back next week. No, I'm just kidding.
I wish it were that easy. This time, I wish it were that easy. Like, I'm looking forward to it thinning down. Or as I said other night, it'll get more bearable as Pete starts to thin the herd. But yeah, this was a lot for me to try to process here.
This was your first Bachelor season and your first episode of Bachelor.
Yes. Wow. I still feel like an old school Mac computer that is smoking and overheating, and I don't know what's going on.
Yes, it was a lot. Normally, the first episode is only the introduction to the girls and the first rose ceremony, and then it ends. This time, they added in the group dates and the date as well, which I thought was interesting, but they sped through. They were speeding through so much, because normally it's you get a lot more time with the girls at the cocktail party and all the just really random little stuff. But this time they just cut a bunch of stuff out, which that's fine, but it was still 3 hours, which is insane.
I'm sorry, real quick though. You said something that I have to give a throwback to when we're doing. When we did Bachelor in Paradise, and again when we do it here pretty soon. But you mentioned the cocktail party, and that's because Pete is in the driver's seat. So yeah. I just want to say that I'm totally looking forward to Bachelorette, so we can see the vagina tail parties.
We're not calling it a vagina tail party.
We're not?
No.
What? Why not?
Well,
it's perfect, Sarah.
All right, moving on. Okay, so, you've basically said it, but how did you feel overall after sitting there for 3 hours about this episode?
First of all, the introductions were complete insanity. I knew there'd be silly stuff going on, but I had zero idea of how crazy it would get. And so that was fun, but then it got me to the point where they were doing each girl gets their own time with him and all that kind of stuff and interrupting. Yes. And then that's making me feel like I am so glad that I'm not attracted to these type of personality of girls. So then I felt grateful and happy about all that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then the confusion set in quickly, with the return of a certain someone, and then the last hour was just nonstop confusion for me and anxiety, and I was overwhelmed with everything, and I don't understand what the hell was going on. Mm-hmm. Like one girl so eloquently put it, is this legal?
Is this legal? So how does this inform, how do you feel about the rest of the season? Are you looking forward to watching this? Are you dreading doing the show now? Do you regret this?
All of those to an extent. But no, I don't. The regret is not that kind of regret. I just regret this because it's just oh my gosh, this is what I'm going to be doing for my Monday nights now, Yep. But once it's going to be unbearable until he starts to whittle the girls down. Then it'll be, I think it'll pick up a little bit more, and it'll be a little more interesting, because right now it's just I don't know, it's just hungry hippos at the very start with all the marbles in there, and you can't tell what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a complete insanity. I can't explain it. And they're trying to fit all of this insanity from, 31 girls into 3 hours, and it's a lot to take in.
Mm-hmm.
Especially for a guy like me. Well, I would imagine especially for a guy, but I don't want to be like that, But for a guy like me who's not into all this pretty stuff and like all this, looking good and trying to be I don't know. I can't explain it, but it's just hard for me to process. I've got friends with this kind of personalities, and they're great people. I love them to death. But as far as dating, there's no way. And one thing I definitely thought was, if I were in this position as Pete on this show, I would be the most attracted to the quietest people there, because these girls are just so loud. I wouldn't be able to handle it. They're so loud. I would just want silence.
I get it. We are 30 women in one room and they're all drinking. Oh,
yeah.
Lord. This was a lot of episode. I really don't know how I feel about it. I'm still processing everything, to be honest. I did come to a realization with my husband last night, because my husband watched the show with me because he was like, I guess I gotta watch this now. And I came to the realization that as much as I like, I like this show ironically, and this show is trash, and this show is complete garbage. I think I actually really enjoy watching this show, because I was freaking out at the end, and we'll get to it. But I love all the drama. I know it's all produced. I don't think I'm one of those fans that's like, this is all real. Everything's real. This is gonna I'm not like that. But I love the drama. I love all the produced stuff. I think it's so entertaining to me. I don't know why. Not even ironically. And my husband's like, yeah, I know. He's like, you like to tell people that you don't like this show, but you really love this show. And I'm like, I know. It's just ridiculous. it's so insane. So let's just kind of jump into how insane this show is. I think it's just insane to me, because the fact that it's all these beautiful women, literally the most beautiful women I've ever seen in my life, and they're all there at one place, and each of those girls have always been the most beautiful person with their friends, so they've never been rejected by guys. So it's just so funny to me for them to all get super butthurt and oh, he sent me home, and they never got broken up with before. It's just so funny to me, in a Hunger Games kind of way, which that sounds really bad, but you know what I mean. It's just kind of oh, I don't feel bad for you, whatever. Anyway, so let's jump it. I'm gonna skip all the Peter stuff. I don't care about Peter and his family. I'm sorry. I'm so over it.
Right. Yeah, we get it. I mean,
we saw Peter with his family.
They look like a lovely family, but I know all I care to know about them right now. I want to get to the good stuff.
And they dance, and they did a whole Top Gun, multiple references.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, oh my God, please stop. With the plane and stuff and then we see him walking in the airport, and I'm like, oh my God, please stop. Please make it stop. Yeah. Anyway, so we'll skip that. We get video packages of certain girls, introducing us to I don't know, 6 or 7 girls. Which I have questions. Do they go and videotape all 30 girls, one for every 30 girl, or do they just pick certain girls that they think are going to do well, so they just videotape them? And if they do all 30 girls, why don't we see them all? I don't mean all on the show, but they don't release all of them. I just never understood why are you going to pick only a certain girls to show me a video package? Especially there's one that she goes home on the first night, so why did I have to meet her? You know what I mean? I never understood that.
See, you're speaking sense though, Sarah.
Thank you. Let me.
Unfortunately, that's something that not a whole lot of folks have. So, you and I, what you're saying, perfect sense. But
you're right. So we got. I'm just gonna do this really fast. So we have Alexa. Alexa's a girl that she waxes vaginas for a living. I'm pretty sure that's what she said.
Yes.
And she owns her own business. That was really funny. Like, I like the packages because I like get to know them, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. Instead of them just showing up, and I'm like, who was that? Like,
See,
I have no
though,
idea who it was.
but why can't we just save the packages for a couple weeks in when we're whittled down? Why do we need to get to know a girl that's going to be going home that night or even the next week?
Or just
like you kind of said,
or like release them before, because I try and do on Facebook like these little like clips. I saw on Instagram that were like, how did you react when you found out Peter was the Bachelor? And they're all like, I cried, I screamed, and I'm like, oh my god, please stop.
And they all flip their hair when they talk about, when they're like, so tell us what you feel about Peter. Yeah. And they're just, so Peter, and they all flip their hair, and it's just killing me.
Well, I wish they released the video packages on Facebook or something instead, and they released all of them, because that would have been a better way to get to know them instead of doing 4 of them in the episode. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, and let the people who care enough to want to get to know them. Yeah.
Because it's not fair if I'm only getting to know a few of them that are not going to end up being important later on anyway. Like, anyway, Alexa waxes vaginas. Hannah Ann with her family. Oh my gosh, we'll talk.
And Hannah Ann.
We'll talk. I don't know about you, but all 4 of my girls that I picked all made it through night 1. I'm super excited.
I'm pretty sure all. I know a couple of mine did, because I picked Hannah Ann and I picked. I can't remember, but I know I picked Hannah Ann.
The ginger.
Yeah, I did pick her. What's her name? Sexy Lexi? No, what's her name? No, for real though, I can't remember her name.
The ginger?
Yeah.
Lexi.
Okay, yeah, Sexy Lexi.
Sexy Lexi. Sure.
But I did pick those 2 at least. I can't remember, and I'm scrolling down here. I got all. Yeah, I deleted my picks from those show notes. So
yeah, oh well. Who cares?
Bad Jay.
Hannah Ann, talk about her later. We got Kelly, the attorney, and there's all kinds of drama with her.
That's the one that he met already, right?
Yes, that's the one that he's met, and more keeps coming out about their whole meeting and stuff like that. Yeah. Madison, the one he had the one-on-one date with, who's she's cute. Marissa, who went home on the first night, so I don't understand. Tammy, who kind of freaks me out. She was like the wrestler in high school on the boys wrestling team. I think she's Asian, and she keeps like popping up all the time. And
she's not the one who wore the angel wings, is she?
No, that's Eunice.
Oh man, that girl. I mean, I don't know anything about her, but
wait.
Sorry.
And then our last video was.
Wait.
We're about to get to it. Hold
on. Sorry.
Our last one is Victoria P. The one who, it's like dad died when she was young, and she had to like raise her sister. There's always like a sad story.
Right.
Which good for her for sticking up. Okay. All right. And then it was time to meet the ladies. Here we go. Did any entrances stand out to us? That's how I'm just going to phrase it.
Absolutely, yes. I cannot believe he sent this broad home. The one with the dry sense of humor.
No, she didn't. She stayed.
Oh, did she?
Yes, she did.
I can't. Okay, so let's just. That being said, that I just flubbed that.
I'll tell you.
This is a peek inside my mind while I'm watching this show. Dude. All of these chicks, and I mean all of them, they all look the same. So, like, the only way I can figure them apart is by, like, the girl with the angel wings, the girl with this dress, the girl with that dress, and I try to look at their dresses, you know? Like, Hannah Ann, I know I had pictured all that, but, like, the only reason I could remember who she was because she had some odd green-colored dress on. So I'm sitting there like, so not only do they all look the same, but then most of their dresses look the same. I don't know. But, okay, That's why I didn't realize she stuck around. But that girl was amazing. I loved it.
Let's talk about this for a second. I'm sitting there with my husband, and I had no idea where this was going. She says to Peter, I want you to know that I have a very dry sense of humor. And then starts laughing and is like looking around, and she goes, and can barely get it out, but basically says, but that's the only thing that's dry about me. I was like, holy shit. I instantly went super dirty, which I'm pretty sure that's what she was trying to hint at.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I took it.
I looked at my husband. I was like, holy shit. I've never heard anything that dirty on this show in my whole life. I was dying. I was like, oh my God.
Oh, that was great.
Then when she like goes to talk to him later, she like brings it up again. And is like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed about that joke I said about being
she
dry.
killed the joke there.
And he was like, yeah, wait, can you tell me what it was again? And I was like, oh my
Oh, Peter.
He didn't remember, which is so funny.
I know.
And that was her whole time with him, is that she had to reiterate her opening, and then she got interrupted. Oh my God, I was dying. I was like, this girl needs to go home. She needs to go home. Not the big fan of her. I think she's going to turn out to be the villain. I think Kelly's still my villain, but her name's Victoria F. And there's some rumors going on about her outside of the show. That
I'm still looking at Natasha to kick somebody's butt.
Yo, her too. I'm excited.
Like I said, man, she just based off her looks, and not in a bad way, but she looks like a chick who ain't going to take nothing off anybody, man. Well, no, she didn't.
She got interrupted too.
Two times.
Yeah, because the girl comes in and she says, "Can I steal him for a minute?" And she said, "Are you asking me?" Because the answer is no.
Yeah, that was great.
Girl, stand up for yourself.
And then she came back, and kept coming back. I'm like, yeah,
which was pretty classy. I think she handled that pretty well, like her coming back with the bigger
She
airplane.
did call her a bitch at one point, am I correct? Like right there in front of Peter, didn't she call her a bitch or something?
She called her a rat.
Oh, I thought I heard the word bitch, and I was like,
whoa. I know she said, she was like, we got some rats and we got cats and rats, and she's like, and I'm a cat, and she's a rat, or something like that.
Man,
I don't know. But so the other scandalous, so I was like, how many sex references are there going to be about him being a pilot? Dirty. Yeah. I'm very disappointed that no one did dirty pilot jokes. Like, no one was like, are you ready to land this plane? Like, no, like none of that. I was like, come on. Right. But they were all about the freaking windmill and going 4 times and like all this. They weren't even like, some of them were not.
You got, runway, cockpit, there are so many things that you can work with.
They were not. The one girl literally got out of the limo and said 4 times. That was her entrance. I'm like, girl, you couldn't come up with something so much better.
And since you brought that up, I made a note here, and my note was them talking about 4 times was so extremely annoying. When they're all in the house, and it's 6 to 8 of them. 4 times. Oh my gosh, 4 times. I'm just like, shut up.
My husband, I was like, damn, these girls probably never had sex. I was like, 4 times? Like, that's not okay. But never mind. We're not going to go into it. I got questions about their sex. 4 times he completed. 4 times. Is a head include? I just want to know. What are you talking about? I'm sorry for parents.
These are all very legit questions. Don't be sorry. They are legit questions.
I want to know, because if he only came once and all the other times he did, does that still count?
I'm sorry,
Mom.
give
him the credit. I'm married. It's fine. I just got questions. I want to know. I don't know. Is it really something? Because I think. Okay, I'm gonna stop.
No, seriously, continue. Like I said, these are all valid questions, and I am loving this. Please go on.
I just don't understand. Oh my God, it's worse than so the last Bachelor was a virgin, and that was all we heard about was how I'm going to take his virginity and I'm going to do this and blah, blah, blah. And it pisses me off because I'm like, especially for this one, now it's all about, oh my God, Peter's such a man. He had sex 4 times in one night. And
dude, what if it was her?
Like,
what if it was, okay, what if it's Hannah B's all wound up?
They do it once and he's like, I'm out. He's like, I don't want to do it. He's like,
dude, what if one of the times, okay, the first time was both of them. They're good to go. Second time, she's wanting more, and Peter, like, he's into it, but he's a little tired, but he's like, okay, let's do this. Third time was him waking up with her on top of him. You know what I mean? I mean, what if it wasn't Peter? What if it was Hannah? And that's why we had 4 times. Well, technically, though, is it 4 times in one night? Because she said there were 3 times, and then they went to bed, and once when they got up. So is it 3 or 4 technically? Overall. What are we talking about here?
4 overall.
Okay.
I think that's what they technically mean. Like, he went 4 times.
I just want to make sure, because there is a difference.
Within 24 hours, I guess.
Because, I mean, dude, there's a difference if you go 4 rounds before you go to bed and 3 rounds before you go to bed.
3 rounds, you get a good, like, 6 hours of sleep, and then you do it again. Like, that is different than, like, boom, 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 boom. I get it. Anyway. But my other favorite joke, and this girl did get sent home, and I'm so mad. This girl goes, I can't wait for you to meet my, what is it? Oh my God, I forget what she said.
Crazy guy? No,
she's like, I have such a nice, shaved pussy cat.
But there was something else in there too.
No, she said, I can't wait for you to see my hairless, and then like pause after every single hairless pussy cat, and then brings a picture of her cat out.
Yeah. And it's one of those cats that looks like a rat.
It's the hairless cat. I was
so ugly.
I was laughing so hard. And then she got sent home, and I was really mad about it. But I'm pretty sure she was like drunk, because every time they would flash to her, she was the one that she was sitting there, and she's like, sometimes you just gotta risk it for the biscuit. I was just laughing. I was like, this girl is drunk right now.
Dude, that girl who gave him who brought her emotional support cow.
Oh my god!
And she goes inside, and she had to tell them it was a joke. I'm just like, you girls are so dim.
The one girl, Tammy's like going around. She's like, "There's a pony. There's a pony outside," and she's like, "It's a cow." She's like, "It's an cow, like, learn your animals." There's some girls on there that are super grounded. Like, there are ones that go on that show that are like really grounded. They just kind of, maybe a family member signed them up or something, like they didn't want to go on the show, and then they're like, why not? That you're always like, you are too good to be on the show. And then you get other girls that are just a wreck. That go on the show, and you're like, you belong on this show.
Oh, well, the girl, if I were there in Peter's spot, the girl who brought the cow and the girl with the dry sense of humor, they would be on my top 2 list so far, just because they come out of the gate with some good humor, dude, and that's important, especially in that kind of a game show environment.
Yeah. I don't know. So it seems like Peter really likes the aggressive girls, because like Hannah Ann interrupted like 3 times, and he gave her the first impression rose. And then who else? Like Kelly was like the girls that like seem headstrong and stuff. But then he also really likes like the sweet. I don't think he likes the over sexual girls. It doesn't seem like. And obviously, he really likes the family-oriented ones, because he was like freaking out.
Oh yeah,
like everything. So the one girl that I didn't have on my list, but I might switch her out to put her higher, is Alea. I think her name is. She was the first one out of the limo. She's the one that gave him the letter from her grandmom.
Yep.
Her grandmom Rose, who I looked at my husband again, and I was like, "How much you want to bet that she wrote this letter?" Grandma Rose.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Rose, like, come on, like.
She had just been watching Titanic and drinking wine with her girlfriends the night before.
Yeah. But that was really cute. She's moved way up on my list. Like, she's gorgeous. I would not be surprised if she makes it to like the end. But he like seemed to really like her. I'm pretty sure they kissed. I don't remember, but I think he like really liked her and liked that she talked about her family. Like, any of the girls that were like, my family's really important to me, like, he was all in on it.
See, there's no way to tell which of those girls are using that to their advantage.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
At this point, he has no idea. Like, he can't look them up. Like, he doesn't know. Yeah. So we had 3 flight attendants, and Eunice was the one with the angel wings that came out.
Okay, yeah.
And she was like, I'm going to stand out. And then like they showed the 2 other flight attendants, and she's like, everyone's a flight attendant here.
She got out with those wings on, and I started laughing, and I go, she'd better be a Victoria's Secret angel or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, there better be a legit reason for this.
But all 3 of the flight attendants went home on the first night, which I was laughing.
Hey, I did make a note, and this has nothing to do with the flight attendants, but it does have to do with a small detail that I noticed, okay?
Yes.
Peter's cufflinks were airplane cufflinks. Okay, now here's the small detail I noticed. I don't know anything about cufflinks, okay? But I'm just going to say that I noticed that the airplane was nose down on his cufflinks. Mm-hmm. But is that a metaphor for how this season is going to go for him? As in, like, crash and burn?
It was a little, like, subconscious thing that he did. Like, he just put them upside down. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. Because I saw that, and I was like, because then after that, I saw it, and I was like, man, what if that's a metaphor? But then I was like, wait a minute. I'm going to look and see if they're all facing down every time he's talking to girls. Because maybe it's one of those things where, like, he's like, they're facing down while he's talking to this girl, and then she ends up getting booted off tonight, but the other girls who stay, they're facing up. One of those kind of really weird Easter egg things, but it had nothing to do with that, because every time they showed them, they were down. But I just thought that was a little odd. I was like, man, because me personally, I would want them facing up, because in my mind, it would be like, you know, we're flying high, we're going up, we're flying, as opposed to like I'm doing nosedive into the ground here.
I think they must have just like, they could have fallen down, like moved. Because I think they can, like,
with
move
it,
around.
Sarah.
Yes, you're right. It's a secret code that the editors put in to let us know the rest of the season is going to take a nosedive. Plain metaphor.
Oh, man.
Oh my goodness. Any other? Oh, one last girl I want to talk about before we move on to something else. Was the girl Savannah. She was the one that blindfolded him and then was like feeling him up and like took the first kiss, like kissed him. That really pisses me off because it's the whole double standard thing again, where I'm just like, if a guy blindfolded a girl and did that, people would be freaking out. Yeah. Like, that's not okay, blah, blah, blah. Like, I feel like they take a lot of liberties with, like, sex and sexual and intimate things when it's a woman doing it to a man and people, like, don't freak out. I don't know. That just it just irks me a little bit.
Very good point.
Like, what if Peter didn't want, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's weird. Like, I get, like, they're trying to get the first kiss, but like, what if he didn't want to kiss ever? I mean, and he did end up like kissing everyone.
Right. Well, no, it's just like you're saying, it is a double standard, because there's those stereotypes that if I can't, it just left my mind. But you are absolutely correct. Just exactly what you said. I swear, I had like the most perfectly formed thought in my mind, and then it just flew away. But you are correct.
Yeah, I know. No, I'm just kidding. And I'm sure I will bring that point up a lot this season. Like, I am absolutely sure. Oh. And then just the last one I want to talk about was, I don't even know what this girl's name was. The girl that she popped out of the suitcase.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. I was kind of hoping he would have left her in there, to be honest.
He just zips it back up. He's like,
but
nah.
My sense of humor, I would have walked up to it and had a conversation with her while she was in it just to mess with her a little bit.
How's it going in there? You need some water? You good?
What's up, girl?
Any other...
So what are you wearing?
Oh my god. So what you got on in there? Oh my god. Any other entrances that you want to talk about? Or girls?
No.
All right.
No. It was completely crazy. That's all I can say. I didn't understand what I was watching.
They were honestly pretty calm. The most calm I've seen the entrances. Like, normally, no one dressed up in a costume, which I'm super disappointed about, because there's usually one girl dressed up like a shark one time. Last year, the girl dressed up like a sloth. Like, I'm really disappointed there were no costumes. But, I mean, they were okay. And then there's the cocktail hour again. And that's when, like, all the girls try and talk to Peter, and Hannah interrupted people 3 times. Hannah Ann, interrupted people like 3 times. And, like, made out with Peter like 8 million times. And good lord, got the first impression rose. So, like, it seems like he's really Well, I'll do that at the end of the episode. Never mind. So went into the first rose ceremony, and Hannah Ann was saved to the next week. I'm not going to say who got saved. I'm just going to say who went home, because that's so much easier.
Yeah.
Avonlea, and she said her name sounded like Heavenly.
Which it does not. No.
Which it does not at all. I was like, it does.
Your parents have been lying to you your entire life.
Oh my god.
Learn to read and spell at the same time, and it will all come together for you.
The only thing that sounds the same is the Lee at the end.
Yeah.
That's the only... Okay.
Vin. Vin Lee.
Avonlea, Heavenly. Okay, anyway. She went home. Eunice, Angel Wings flight attendant, went home. Jade, also flight attendant, who we literally saw her say, I'm a flight attendant. That's it. She went home. I mean, that's all we saw of her. Right. Jenna was the girl with the emotional support cow. She went home, which I'm really sad about. I would have liked her to stay, but that's fine. That was funny.
Yeah.
My girl Katrina with the pussycat. So good. She went home. She was the one that they cut to him, and she was like twerking with him. Like they were like dancing. Right. She was like twerk. I think she was too much for him to handle. Like I think he was like, I can't. She's too much of a party girl.
Puppy dog Pete can't hang.
Puppy dog Pete. A girl named Kylie. Nothing. I have nothing. I don't remember her at all. The girl, Marissa, went home. She was the one that had the video package that talked about how she lost all this weight, which I also have an issue about. But that's fine. And then the last one that went home was Megan, who was our third flight attendant. So he was like, bye.
Well, I mean, really, though, he knows enough flight attendants.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Exactly. Like, it hasn't worked with a flight attendant before. I don't know if he's dated one, but you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I'm sure he's not ugly. Like,
basically, if he wants a flight attendant,
he could get a flight attendant.
He's not gonna go on a game show to find one.
Yes,
he can just go to work.
Exactly. So that's the end of the first half of the episode. And before we cover the rest of the 3-hour episode, we're going to take a quick break. You can listen to some promos that we have for other shows on this feed. Yeah, that made sense. Oh my gosh. Other shows. Hold on. I gotta do that. Okay, we're going to take a quick promo for you guys to listen to some... Oh my god!
Don't worry about it. I'm going to use the first one where I moo.
We'll be right back.
Hey there, Schmodown fans. This is Josh the Merc Rainer, and I am here to tell you about my show, Talkin' Schmodown. Whether it's Andrew Guy getting hit with a chair, John Roca screaming, outlaw, or the emotional retirement of the Shire Wolves, I talk about it all. so you can catch me right here on Anchor and all the other major podcasting platforms. So, as I ask every episode, are you ready to talk Schmodown? I am.
Hello everybody, Jay Wade
and Kaylin here
to tell you about SEN After Live.
It's an after-show podcast where we expand on the week of craziness on SEN Live, as well as have guests on to join in the fun.
Yep, and we get personal too. We do movie reviews, and at times we go way off the rails, which I guarantee is always Kaylin's fault.
Hey, how rude and not true. So, come join us on the Merc with a Movie Blog feed, and remember to rate, share, and subscribe, and as always, enjoy.
All right, and we're back. That was a hot mess. And speaking of hot messes, okay, so we are officially into the actual episode part, like what we're going to be seeing, the format that we're going to be seeing for the next 11, 10 weeks. I don't know. Oh, God. Oh, God. Till March, I think, or April, however long this thing is. Woo! Woo! Okay, so Peter's super excited. Also, like, a nice note that they filmed this like back to back to back. So like they had the first night or whatever starts like super late at night, and they go all the way until morning. Like you saw, it was sunrise when they were doing the rose ceremony. So they're out filming that the whole time. Then they got to go back to the hotels and bring all their stuff to the mansion. And on that same day, they have the first group date. So, like, they just go right into it. So, the reaction that these girls have to things is basically just sleep deprivation. Like, that's why they cry all the time. Which I'm like, because there's one girl on the one date, she just breaks down crying. And I'm like, girl, pull yourself together. Like, but it's just because, like, it's literally back to back to back. Like, they don't have time to sleep. Like,
right.
Which is, oh my God, I'd be so sick. Like, if I don't get enough sleep, like, I get physically ill. Like, I get really, really sick.
Right.
So this would be a nightmare. But anyway, so the first group date, right off the bat, it's a good tie between how much windmill references we get and how much airplane references. Because literally both dates had to do it, either of those things.
Right.
The first one, they do some airplane thing where they have two pilots, and one of them is a Marine air pilot. So whoop whoop, go Marines. And then the other one is a Blue Angel air pilot. Is that what they're called? Pilots? I don't know.
The first female Blue Angel pilot, I believe, wasn't she? Wasn't she?
That's awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
So they had them there, and they went through like flight school stuff. So they asked them like simple questions, which is really funny. Like
the math.
Yeah, the math stuff.
I'm sorry, Kaylin, if you're listening to this. I did. I'll admit it. I did. I just kind of made a joke, like basically females suck at math was what I just said. I apologize. Another person who co-hosts here with us, she is very bright, and she's a college math teacher. And as soon as I said it, I was like, "Uh-oh," because I'm sorry.
I didn't know any of those math.
Well, I mean, I didn't either, but I also didn't mean to imply that females don't know anything about math. I apologize for that if anyone's offended.
So they did that, and then they put them in the, like, I forget what they called it, but like I'm going to call it like the spinny thing.
Oh, the not gyroscope.
Yeah, gyrosphere.
Is that what it's called?
Something like that. The
gyro something.
I'm going to call it the
scope, but gyro something.
Gyrosphere.
That thing where you spin and it goes in circles in all different directions, and it makes you sick.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And it not only makes you sick, it makes you realize that there are good men out there. And your standard of a good man is a guy who comes to see if you're okay after you vomited and brings you water.
Okay, yeah. So
wow.
As Victoria P, I get I think it's Victoria P. Yeah. I get
Yeah,
super
the nurse.
motion sickness. Yeah. I get really motion sickness. I'd be freaking out. I don't think I would do it. Like, or I'd just suck it up and throw up like she did. Oh my god. I would be sick the whole day. It'd be awful. So she like toughened up and did it, but I noticed, and I heard other people talk about it too, she got the worst the worst of it. Like, he was really like spinning it more than any of the other girls, and they were all like, oh my gosh, like he was really
That's a guy thing. That's a guy thing. That was all just him, like, he couldn't resist. She was complaining about it, and he just couldn't resist. You know what I mean?
Well, she was like, I don't want to throw. Some of the girls are like, I don't want to throw up in front of him. I don't want to throw up in front of my future husband. And I'm like,
what?
Again, I'm going to say this so much. I look at my husband and I'm like, weak. I'm pretty sure I've thrown up in front of every guy I've dated at least once. Like,
it's natural.
It just happens. Like, it's fine. I throw
How
up.
How many of those times were because you were drunk? Percentage-wise.
Not that. Probably like 10%.
Oh, I was thinking more like on the upper end of 75-80%.
No. I throw up for no reason.
All right.
Get nauseous all the time. If I eat too much sugar and I start running around, I'll throw up. Even if I just eat too much sugar, I'll throw up. Like, it's bad. It's for no reason. Maybe the alcohol is higher, but that's because I'm a super lightweight, and even if I just drink a little bit, I start to feel really nauseous. So I'm like, woo! Anyway, so she like threw up, and he like gave her water and stuff like that, which is like kind of cute and sweet. I guess, whatever. Like, come on, what would you expect them not to do that though?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know, she's like, I didn't realize that there were men who were that sweet and kind.
Yeah,
and it's like, dude, I would do that for a stranger that I don't know and I'm not attracted to, and would never imagine that I would date, just because I'm a human being and I see someone just got sick.
Yeah, do you need some water? Yeah.
Oh my God. What kind of gem of a freaking guy has she been dating all these years?
Probably not gems.
Not gems at all.
Not gems at all.
And that's a lot of the issues with I don't know. I'm not going to get into all of that.
Anyway, so then after all that, they do a like obstacle course, which is a standard of like the first or second Bachelor episode. They always do an obstacle course.
See, that threw me off. I was like, I didn't realize there was an actual like game show element to it like that.
At least the first 2 episodes before they start like traveling and stuff like that, they do like,
I see.
Are you able? They did one with the guys for one of the Bachelorette seasons where they had to dress up in tuxes and they were doing like a groom wedding dash thing. Like, it's fun. Like, they do weird things like that. So they had to do this airplane whatever, and they got, which looked really fun. Like, that would be fun. Except for the fans are literally they literally could not get up. I was like, oh my God, like, that seems terrible. They came down to the final 2 girls, and it was like Tammy and Kelly. And now we can talk about all the Kelly drama. And apparently Kelly cheated because she just went straight through the cone, and they were supposed to go like around them, but she was like, I'm going straight. So Kelly cheated allegedly and won the private airplane flight with Peter. And all the girls are pissed. Which I think I'd be really scared. I don't know. It'd be nice, but I'd also be like, are you sure you can fly this thing?
Yeah. I mean, no matter how much you see him fly on TV or just you know he's a pilot, it's still like, man, I've never really flown with this guy before, and there's no one there that I know is a pro, just in case.
Yeah, those planes are super. You die. You're more likely to die in like the little planes than like an actual plane. Like, no, thank you. Anyway, so Kelly's the one. Like we said before, she met Peter. She met Peter randomly at a hotel where they have the cocktail party at after this date, the same hotel, and she's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe, like, what a coincidence!"
Total coincidence. Yeah,
I was like,
producers
wow,
completely forgot.
I was like, wow, this girl's stupid. Like,
hey, for real though, at least she wasn't advertising this stuff. You know what I mean? She could have been using that to like to mess with the girls and get in their heads. You know what I mean? But I will give her credit for not like blasting it out there.
I don't know. Well, she's an attorney, so I feel like she's doing it real. She knows what she's doing. I feel like by like mentioning things, but she's not. She's doing it in a way that's not, like you said, like braggy. I don't know. It's just very like matter of fact, and she doesn't give all the details at once because like we keep finding out more. Like at first it was like, oh, I met him randomly at this hotel and I asked to get a picture with him, and then the next time we find out more that no, it seemed like she told him that she was going to audition for the show, or she was auditioning or got casted. And then we find out that they danced. And then we keep finding out more and more.
There's some sort of spark that's been reignited.
Yeah, because when she showed up, he was like, oh my God, like, I really hoped you would come.
Right. So he sounded like he knew that it was possible she would be there.
It was more than just running into a girl being like, okay, like, I haven't stopped thinking about you.
And how random do we think the meeting was? I mean, yeah, she said she was there for a legit reason, whatever, but I mean, even if she was there for a legit reason, and he was too, like, I mean, it is possible she maybe somehow stalked him in a way to know that he would be there, or somehow found out from someone. Maybe she knew he was going to be there too, so she stood around the lobby waiting for him to come around that corner by the elevators and just, oh, wow, you're here.
Maybe. So she said it happened a month before they started filming. I feel like at that point, they probably already had like, she's from the East Coast or somewhere, so she was probably out there for auditions. Like, you know what I mean? Like, maybe she just got casted. Maybe she just had an audition. Maybe it worked out where she's like, oh, my friend, because she said she was there for a wedding, her best friend's wedding.
Right.
So maybe, like, they were also auditioning at the same time, and she's like, oh, perfect, one bird, two stones. Like, and, or I don't know, whatever the saying is. So maybe
birds with
like
one stone.
2 birds, 1 stone. Got it. Maybe that's what happened.
Maybe the producers let her know that he was going to be there. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe the producers knew, okay, she's going to be in town in a wedding anyway, and we're going to be interviewing her anyway, you know.
But I feel like that's, I don't know, like, I don't know.
And then they happen to know, they know that Peter's there anyway, so they're like, hey, why don't you, you know, just kind of maybe wait around and hang out in the lobby, see if maybe you can bump into Peter, and create this whole, whatever that Blake or whatever that douchebag's name was, recreate this whole drama of he knows one of these girls from before.
Yeah. I get, like, I see it being a total coincidence if it's just like, oh, she just ran into him and just asked for a picture and didn't, like, say anything. But, like, the fact that, like, he's like, remember the dance we did? Or, like, I haven't stopped thinking about you. It's more, that has to be more than just a quick, like, you know.
Oh, yeah, they spent some time hanging out with each other.
Yeah, so it was more than just a chance encounter. Like, it feels planned.
Mm-hmm.
So all right, and I do like the fact that she's like kind of telling the girls, like, was upfront about it, like, yeah, we've met. Like, it wasn't like she's not trying to make it a secret, which is like a power move, because she's like, yeah, we've met. And so, like, she interrupts one of the girls, even though she had all this time. People are not a fan of Kelly right now, so that's why I think she's gonna be our villain. But so she ends up getting the group date rose, and Peter, like, says this stuff to her, says something like, there was a spark, or so he says something like, I'm so excited to be back at the place that we first met, where that started, or something like that. And I was like, oh, Peter. Like, oh, no. Like, definitely some things for the other girls to be like, oh, she's the competition. Like, oh, no. And she played it really cool, because the girls are like, oh, that was sweet. And she's like, yeah, I guess. Like, she played it well. But keep her eyes out for Kelly.
Yeah, for sure.
That's going to be nuts. Also, Tammy, like, brought up the fact that she cheated, which I was like, okay, get over it. Like, she's like, oh, I'm so happy for your date, but, like, you cheated. And I was like, oh, God.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, get over it. You're like 27. Like, grow up. Like, stop this. Anything else about that date?
No, and I have a request.
Yes.
Can we just skip the second date? Because everybody listening knows what happened already, and it was really boring.
The one-on-one date?
But yeah, the wedding and all that.
Oh my god. No, I have to talk about it.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, let me just say, this was the weirdest and worst date I've ever seen.
Absolutely.
They took her to a vow renewal, like, of his parents, which was so produced. Like, it was so, like, oh my god. Oh, and then he initially, if he didn't do the ceremony, I would have been like, oh, that's a coincidence. But the fact that he was like, I'm ordained now, I was like, oh my god. This poor girl. I again looked at my husband and I was like, hell no. I'd be freaking out. I would be freaking out. I'd be like, I'm gonna go home. I have social anxiety. I don't want to meet new people. Like, this is a lot.
Such a terrible date.
Oh my gosh. I really like her, and I can see her going super far. Madison. I don't think they're gonna end up together. But she handled it well. I feel like she was a good choice, though, because she was just like, hi, like super welcoming and like,
right,
like
yep.
And she got a rose, so she's staying around probably for a while. Okay. Oh God. Okay. Then we have half of the second group date because Hannah Brown shows up for the second time this episode.
That whole thing.
Oh my god.
First of all, Peter did not ask her to do anything. The producer said, hey, this is what we're going to do, but we're going to have you tell everyone that it was your idea.
Oh my god, this is so... Okay, so we knew Hannah was going to show up at some point, and we both kind of agreed that it was going to be probably the first episode. It was the first night was just going to be a what's that, red herring thing. She's just going to show up. She showed up as one of the extra girls. Other girls are freaking out that she was there, but like, she's not really going to stay. She's just going to show up and wish him luck. What she did, she gave him back the wings that he gave her, which is really sweet, but also kind of like stupid. And it's so obvious to me that like the reason why she keeps showing up is produced. Like, it's not because she wants to be there. It's because they're like, you're super popular. She was filming Dancing with the Stars at the time. She's like, you're super popular, one of the most popular bachelorettes we've ever had. You're still single. You're still contracted with ABC. Like, we can just pull you out whenever we want. And
they've been using her for over a year now, right?
Yeah,
I mean, she was on some Cody guy or something season of Bachelor, then her own season of Bachelorette, then she showed up on Bachelor in Paradise, then she's on Dancing with the Stars.
So
now, what the hell's going on?
It should be up with Peter's season because she did one full year, but I wonder if because Dancing with the Stars is a different show, if it's a contract she has to sign with AB. I don't know.
I'm sure her contract is with the company. Not a specific show. That's why they're able to move her around so much.
So maybe she signed up. I don't know. I just feel so bad.
I don't know either, though. I mean, I live in Ohio. I don't know.
I don't know. But her showing up the first time was like cute or what, was nice. I was like, that's sweet, whatever.
Right,
I didn't need it, but like I accepted it. Okay, so she shows up. And like you said, the whole Peter, like, I asked a friend to be here and plan this segment, so I have no idea what's going on, which is like, it's not the producers were like, we planned something. And it was so awkward because it's going to be her. And it's the windmill and silhouette, and she literally starts talking about the 4 times that they had sex again, and all the girls, it just keeps cutting to all the girls going like, what the hell? Like, why?
Yeah, what were they thinking with all of that? I mean, I know they're thinking drama, but I mean, for real though, really?
It really pisses me off, and again, it just goes back to the double standard. Like, the fact that he's a male, that you can keep bringing this up and have his, like, that's super personal that they're exploiting.
People would be screaming slut shaming if roles were reversed, and the guy is standing there telling a bunch of guys about his sex life with the one girl that they're all trying to hook up with.
Exactly.
They would burn him on a stake.
Oh my god! But it was like she was like going in detail without going into detail.
Right,
I was like,
right.
oh, like oh my god! Oh, I'd be so pissed. Like I'd be so mad. And then she's like, your challenge is that you guys are going to tell your sex story. Which another thing is like,
It's so dumb.
what the hell?
That's like junior high basement spin the bottle BS.
And that's one instance is like, excuse me, what if I don't want to tell one of my sex stories?
Exactly.
Okay. What if I'm a virgin? What if I am a survivor? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what? Like, I didn't sign up for this. Like, that's.
And imagine a guy telling a group of girls, okay, you're going to tell your best sex stories.
It's so awkward. Like, that was really bad.
Because a female does it, it's somehow acceptable.
Yeah. It was just, which we don't get to see the date. And in the last, I don't know, 15 minutes.
30 minutes?
30 minutes?
It was last 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
It was unbearable. Okay.
Last 30 minutes, and we'll just touch on it because who knows, is the whole Hannah and Peter stuff. And so, like, Hannah starts to get super emotional, and the producers are asking her, like, are you okay? And she's like, no, I'm not okay, which really leads me to, like, it leads me to think that she was not, like, I want to come back. Like, they were like, you need to come back, and you need to do this.
Right.
And it's just so, I feel really bad for her in that sense that you can tell that, like, yeah, like, she's kind of being forced to do this. And it was just super awkward because Peter, like, so eventually, like, it's just them just going back and forth and talking about all this stuff, and then, like, her saying, like, I guess I still have feelings for you, and I question letting you go all the time, and him, it was just all this, like, teenage drama that I was like,
what it was the conversation that they should have had months ago. You know, and it's either one of two things. It's either just for whatever reason they never had the chance to really. They either not that they didn't have the chance. They didn't take the time to have this conversation until this point, or it's more devious than that. And somehow the production kept them away from each other so that they captured them having this conversation on the show. But either way, it was a conversation that they should have had months ago.
They should have, and, like, it just felt like there was a lot of, like, personal things and
questioning, why did you ask Tyler out then? Which is a very, very legit question.
Yeah. And then, but her, like, turning it back and being like, well, you never reached out to me and you never did this.
Oh,
and it's like,
come on.
No, of course he's not. Like, of course he's not going to reach out.
Yeah, look how everything went down.
Yeah,
you're the one who told him no. He didn't tell you no.
Exactly. And, like, she let him go. The third person basically blindsided him and even admitted to being like, I always thought it was going to be you and Jed. Like, I always thought you were the final two. Like, that's what I saw. You were going to meet my family. It was going to be me and you. And then to just be like, but you didn't reach out. You didn't try and call me. Like, I wouldn't either. Like, no, you just broke up with me, like, on national TV. I'm not going to reach out to you. And then if she's type.
Yeah, and then if she's even also talking about after the reunion thing, there it comes to his legit question about Tyler.
Exactly.
You know, it's like, okay, first of all, you rejected me and you turned me down. You said no. You sent me home, and then so of course I'm not going to reach out to you.
Yeah.
Then when we do end up in the same place at the same time again, where it is even a possibility. You don't reach out to me. You reach out to the guy that you turned down, to the other guy you turned down. So then after that, especially after that, why would I reach out to you? You've then turned me down twice. You've rejected me 2 times.
Yeah. And I'm sure probably a week or two. Well, I'm sure they are already in talks at that point on negotiations for him to be Bachelor. So I'm sure, like, because that's one of her arguments.
Did say that. She said, I thought you wanted to be Bachelor. When he's like, why'd you ask Tyler out? I thought you wanted to be Bachelor. Okay, well, I am Bachelor now, so why are you here now?
Yeah, how is that any different now? You still showed up.
Yeah.
Like, you're still here. Like, what's the difference? Like, So then
Girls got problems.
I feel bad because he's like, you can tell he's so torn and he really likes her. Like he
does.
really
You can tell.
has these feelings for her, and I feel really bad. And he like reluctantly, I feel like reluctantly was like, how would you feel? Would you be on the show? Like, would you come back and be on the show? And honestly, like, obviously she doesn't, but I don't think this is the end of We'll See Hannah, and I don't know how this conversation is going to end. Like, I don't know.
It's not the end of them.
No, I don't think so.
Their drama, there's no way. But I'm with you. Even I don't think she will say yes, that she wants to go back on the show.
No.
But even if she does, I don't know that producers would really let her.
No, I don't think they really would.
So
I don't know.
Because I mean, they've put a lot of production into this, and I think I don't know. I think there'd be a lot of backlash. I think, but
I think so.
I just don't think they would do that. But either way, I don't think when she answers him, I don't think she'll say yes anyway. And like you said, it's obvious that she doesn't. If she does, it's not for long.
It's
like maybe she does stick around, and then like next week or in 2 weeks, she realizes she doesn't want to go through this competition BS again for a guy that she already has feelings for or whatever, and she just takes herself out.
Yeah. I don't
know.
I don't know. It's kind of a mess. I feel bad for the girls. Because like he obviously is so conflicted, and like he's told the girls multiple times like, oh, that chapter's done, I don't have feelings for her anymore, it's a closed book, blah blah blah. And then like during his conversation he was like, I am not as far along with my feelings that I thought I was. Like, I don't think I'm as ready for this as I thought I was, which a lot of that I feel like might just be emotions and him being exhausted and heightened emotions of where they're at and produce, like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like a lot of that is just circumstantial, and if this was just a normal, he would just happen to run into her and they had dinner and this happened, I don't think it would be this dramatic, you know what I mean? I like he probably really is. I'm sure he still has a little bits of feelings for her, but I don't think it's as deep as he thinks it is, if that makes sense.
No, it goes back to, like I said, this is a conversation they should have had a long time ago, because and one of the reasons one of the reasons that they should have had this conversation a long time ago is because of those lingering feelings that are going to come back up and are going to stick around for just a little bit until they fade off. But because they just had this conversation, he's extremely confused right now. Yeah. And this was just a very, very bad time for them to have this conversation.
Yeah. There's just no closure.
Especially when, no matter what happens now, they're going to go out there and listen to these other girls tell their sex stories. It's just, we'll and then I blame it all on production. I just think it was all set up, and I think at least to a point, I don't know, as far as we don't really know, but I think at least to a point, it was set up completely, or not completely, but to a point at the expense of Hannah. Well, not just Hannah and Peter, but the other girls too. Yeah. They're stuck in the middle of this now.
Yeah.
None of them signed up for this. So, but it will be interesting to see what happens for sure.
Well, I'm excited to see the end quotation marks of this next week, and I don't know, so much drama only in the first episode. I'm so excited. So this was a fun episode. Any other final last thoughts before we land this plane and get out of here?
Not at this time. Just remember to secure your tables in their upright positions, and join us again next week.
Yes, and to my co-pilot Jay, where can the people find you?
Y'all can find me on the Twitter at jwade1134. That is the letter J, WADE 1134.
And your captain's Twitter, that's me, is SCBOC, SSEABOCK. And you can find this plane at the airline. Just kidding. The airplane puns are not going away for the rest of the season. I'm just letting you know.
Not at all.
Probably refer to you as my co-pilot throughout this whole season. I'm
Sounds
looking
good.
forward to it. But you can follow our producer, whatever, all of this stuff at Merc with a Movie Blog on Twitter at Movieblog Merc. And then you can find this show as well as the other shows that we do. We're constantly coming up with new ideas for different movie and TV show podcasts. But you can find them all in the Merc with a Movie Blog feed on Anchor and other podcasting platforms. And you can also find the shows on YouTube on Merc with a Movie Blog channel. You can find them all over the place, you know. We'll be back next week covering the next 9 episodes of Peter's Bachelor season. See you then. Bye.